Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you something powerful tonight. What are the last words you whisper to yourself before you fall asleep? Think about it. Is it worry? Is it stress about bills, about tomorrow, about not being enough? Or is it faith? Because whatever you say before sleep is not just a thought. It's a seed. And the night is the soil where it grows. Florence Scovel Shinn, the great teacher of spiritual law, said, "Your word is your wand. What you declare with conviction becomes your reality. So if you want to wake up rich in spirit, in ideas, in opportunities, even in money, you must command your subconscious before sleep." Let me give you an example. Imagine a gardener. Every night before bed, he throws seeds into his soil. Some nights, he throws weeds, fear, doubt, lack. Other nights, he throws flowers, faith, gratitude, abundance. By morning, something always grows. But here's the truth: weeds grow faster when we're careless. So we must be intentional with our final words of the day. Now let me ask you, how many times have you gone to bed replaying what went wrong? That argument. That missed opportunity. That bill waiting tomorrow. And then you wake up heavy, tired, carrying yesterday into today. But what if tonight was different? What if, instead of fear, you planted faith? Florence Shinn gave us a powerful declaration to speak before sleep. God is my instant supply. All my needs are met in rich abundance. I rest knowing wealth is flowing to me in divine ways. Say it slowly. Let it sink into your heart. Because when your conscious mind sleeps, your subconscious works. Your subconscious does not argue. It does not question. It only obeys. So when you command it with words of wealth, it begins to open doors. New ideas come. New connections appear. Solutions reveal themselves. And what seemed impossible suddenly flows with ease. Here's the science behind it. Your brain has a filter called the reticular activating system. It decides what you notice and what you ignore. If you fall asleep saying, "I'm broke, I can't afford this, nothing works out for me," your brain will scan for proof to make that true. But if you fall asleep declaring, "I live in abundance, money flows to me, I am guided to success," your brain will hunt for evidence of wealth, opportunities, and blessings. It's not magic, it's focus. And focus creates results. Think about this. Have you ever wanted a certain car, and suddenly, you see it everywhere? It's not that the car just appeared. It's that your brain finally opened the door to notice it. Wealth works the same way. When you train your mind with affirmations before sleep, you wake up tuned to opportunities you never saw before. So tonight, I challenge you. Before you close your eyes, don't carry fear into your dreams. Don't take scarcity into your sleep. Instead, speak wealth. Speak abundance. Speak life. And tomorrow, watch what begins to shift. Remember, my friends, you don't get rich by accident. You get rich by intention. And that intention begins with the words you plant before you sleep. So tonight, say this with me in your heart. I release fear. I embrace abundance. I rest in faith. Wealth is flowing to me, now and always. Sleep with that truth. Wake up with that power. And live in the flow of divine wealth. Thank you. Here are the following key points that you will listen in this video. What you say before sleep programs your subconscious mind. Your subconscious accepts your words as truth and works on them while you rest. Negative words plant weeds of lack, positive affirmations plant seeds of wealth. Florence Scovel Shinn's declarations align your mind with abundance. Your brain's reticular activating system attracts proof of what you focus on. Speaking abundance before sleep sets you up to wake with clarity, energy, and opportunities for wealth. Imagine this: it's late at night. The world outside is quiet, the hum of distant traffic barely audible, and you lie in your bed, staring at the ceiling, your mind racing. Thoughts of bills, deadlines, relationships, and missed opportunities swirl around like leaves caught in a storm. Your body is resting, but your mind is wide awake, replaying the day's struggles like an old film. Now, think for a moment, these are the last words and thoughts you are giving your subconscious before it takes over in sleep. Little do most people realize, These last moments of consciousness are the most potent. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Your word is your wand." The power of your spoken word creates your life. The words you speak in these quiet hours are not just sounds, they are seeds planted deep in the fertile soil of your subconscious. Consider a small child learning to walk. Every stumble and fall is remembered, but so is every moment of success. The subconscious, much like that child, absorbs everything, without judgment, without questioning, without resistance. If you whisper fear into it, "I'll never get ahead, I can't do this, I'm not enough," your subconscious takes these words as commands. It stores them, files them under reality, and sets out to prove them true in ways you may not even notice. That anxious knot in your stomach in the morning, the missed opportunity, the small misstep at work, the arguments that flare up with ease, they are all reflections of what was fed into the subconscious the night before. Now imagine another scenario. A woman, exhausted after a long day, finally crawls into bed. Her thoughts are heavy, but she pauses before sleep, repeating softly, "I am guided. Wealth flows to me. I am open to receive." Night after night, she speaks these words with faith, even if she doesn't see immediate results. Over time, subtle shifts begin to appear. She notices opportunities where she never noticed them before, a conversation with a colleague that sparks a business idea, a chance encounter with someone who opens a door, or a sudden inspiration that changes her approach to a project. These are not coincidences, they are her subconscious mind responding to the seeds planted by her words. Let's go further. Picture the subconscious as a diligent gardener working tirelessly while you sleep. It doesn't rest, it doesn't argue or complain. It simply cultivates what you give it. If you hand it seeds of fear and worry, it nurtures anxiety, scarcity, and struggle. If you hand it seeds of faith and abundance, it cultivates clarity, opportunity, and wealth. The night, with its silence and calm, becomes a sacred time for this gardener to work, turning your spoken words into the blueprint of your reality. There's a story I want to share, a man I'll call Daniel. Daniel was stuck in a job he hated, drowning in debt, and convinced that he would never escape. Every night, as he lay in bed, he whispered, "I can't do this, nothing ever works for me." His nights were restless, and his mornings were heavy with despair. One day, a friend told him about Florence Scovel Shinn's principles. Skeptical, he decided to try something different. That night, he whispered, "I am open to abundance. I welcome opportunities. Wealth flows to me." At first, nothing happened. He almost laughed at himself for trying such a silly technique. But he persisted. Weeks later, he noticed a small shift, an unexpected freelance opportunity that paid more than he anticipated. Then another. Each time, he reflected and realized he had been awake enough to notice doors he never would have seen before. His subconscious had been working, silently turning his words into pathways. And here is the fascinating part: your subconscious does not care about logic. It does not ask whether your words are realistic. It accepts them as truth and organizes circumstances to match. If you say, "I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am abundant," your subconscious begins to align your thoughts, your energy, and even your behavior to reflect those truths. It creates a sort of magnetic field around you that draws opportunities, ideas, and solutions into your waking life. You may wake up feeling more confident, more creative, more alert to possibilities that were invisible to you before. Think about the power in a single night. 8 hours of sleep, where your subconscious is absorbing every word you feed it, turning statements into internal beliefs. These beliefs, once set, influence your actions, your decisions, and your interactions the next day. The way you speak to yourself in the final moments before sleep is more than a routine, it is an act of creation. It is the moment where your inner world begins to shape your outer reality. Now, let me ask you, how often do you review what you say to yourself before sleep? Are your words laden with doubt and fear, or are they filled with faith and expectation? The small phrases you utter, sometimes softly, sometimes in frustration, are like tiny rivulets feeding a river. That river flows through your subconscious all night, carving channels, moving energy, creating landscapes that will manifest when you awake. The words "I can't," "I'm not enough," "there's never enough," create walls, barriers, and obstacles. Words of faith, gratitude, and abundance create bridges, doors, and pathways to possibility. Florence Scovel Shinn once shared that a man came to her, desperate, worried about money. She asked him what he said to himself before sleep. He admitted, "I worry all night about bills and work problems." Shinn simply told him to declare, "God is my supply. My needs are met. I am open to receive." He did, faithfully, for days, for weeks. Slowly, opportunities arose. He noticed clients who had overlooked him before, unexpected payments came in, and doors that had seemed closed swung open. His subconscious had been working, silently, turning his words into circumstances. Your last words before sleep are like an unspoken command. Do you want your life to be dictated by fear, stress, and scarcity? Or do you want to plant seeds of abundance, hope, and wealth? The choice is simple, but profound. Each night is a chance to rewrite your inner story, to guide your subconscious toward creation rather than limitation. Each night is a canvas, waiting for the colors of your words. And remember, it does not have to be long or complicated. Even a simple declaration, repeated with faith, can shift the currents of your life. It could be as short as, "I release fear. I welcome abundance. I am guided to prosperity." Spoken softly, slowly, with feeling, it seeps deep into your subconscious, where it begins to work in ways you cannot immediately see, but will begin to notice in your life's unfolding. Imagine drifting into sleep with these words like lanterns lighting the dark corners of your mind. Each one illuminates a path, a new possibility, a new connection, a hidden solution. You awaken not because the world has changed overnight, but because your perception has shifted, your awareness has been heightened, and your subconscious has aligned circumstances to reflect the truth you planted before sleep. Even the greatest achievers in history understood this principle, even if they did not call it subconscious programming. They knew that their inner dialogue shaped their reality. They spoke to themselves with intention, even in solitude, even in moments of exhaustion. And that inner dialogue became the compass for their actions, for their decisions, for their destiny. So tonight, as you lie down to sleep, consider the words you are giving your subconscious. Are they a gift or a burden? Are they planting weeds or flowers? Are they the seeds of limitation or the seeds of limitless possibility? Because whatever you whisper before sleep will grow while you dream, shaping the life you wake up to. Think for a moment about the mind you carry with you every day. Most people treat it as if it's a passive passenger, drifting along while life steers the wheel. But your subconscious is not passive. It's a tireless worker, a hidden engine, quietly shaping your reality in ways you rarely notice. Every thought you allow to linger, every feeling you feed, becomes a program running behind the scenes, influencing every choice you make. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Your subconscious mind is like a faithful servant. It obeys your orders whether they are wise or foolish. And here's the thing, it doesn't judge. It doesn't question. It simply obeys." Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a vast, dark warehouse, endless in size, filled with thousands of invisible workers. Each worker represents a function of your subconscious: memory, pattern recognition, problem-solving, intuition. During the day, your conscious mind gives instructions, sometimes clearly, often chaotically, but the real work is done after you sleep, when the warehouse is quiet, when the workers can move without distraction. Whatever instructions you leave them at night are the ones they act upon. Speak fear to them, and they construct walls. Speak doubt, and they build traps. Speak faith and gratitude, and they design bridges, doors, and windows to opportunity. Let's make this concrete. There's a young man named Alex. He had dreams of starting his own business, yet every night he went to bed repeating the same mantra: "I don't have enough experience. I'll probably fail. I'm not ready." Unbeknownst to him, these words were programming his subconscious like a computer with a virus. He woke up tired, uninspired, and hesitant, seeing obstacles where there were none. Months passed, and his dreams remained dormant, not because he lacked ability, but because his subconscious was following instructions he had unwittingly given it. Now imagine the exact opposite scenario. Consider a woman named Maria. She had a similar dream of launching a creative venture. Every night, just before sleep, she whispered softly, "I am capable. I am ready." Opportunities flow to me. I am guided to success. At first, it felt silly, like talking to herself in the dark was meaningless. But she persisted. Over time, she began noticing small things during her day: an email from someone seeking collaboration, an idea she hadn't considered, a chance meeting at a coffee shop. These weren't coincidences. They were the subconscious mind at work, constructing reality based on the directives she had consistently fed it before sleep. What she planted in her inner world manifested in her outer world. Your subconscious does not care about circumstances. It doesn't care about logic. It doesn't ask whether something is reasonable or possible. All it understands is the vibration of the words and emotions you give it. When you speak scarcity, worry, or fear, your subconscious interprets it as a command to bring scarcity, worry, and fear into your life. When you speak abundance, faith, and gratitude, it moves to align your circumstances with those truths. Let me give you another analogy. Imagine your subconscious as a GPS system. Every night, when you speak to it, you are setting a destination. Speak words of fear, and it calculates routes through traffic jams, dead ends, and construction. Speak words of abundance and faith, and it finds the most efficient, open pathways to your desired destination. The system doesn't argue with you, it simply navigates according to the coordinates you input. If those coordinates are unclear or negative, the journey is difficult. If they are positive and specific, the journey flows smoothly. There's also an emotional layer to this. Thoughts and words before sleep are soaked in emotion, and emotion is the fuel for subconscious action. Think about a time you were so excited or worried that it affected your sleep. Maybe you stayed awake with excitement over an upcoming event, or maybe anxiety kept you tossing and turning. Emotions amplify the signal you send to your subconscious. Positive emotions, paired with empowering words, magnify the creation of beneficial outcomes. Negative emotions, paired with limiting statements, magnify the opposite. Consider the story of a man named Thomas. Every night he went to bed worried about his finances. He would replay bills, debts, and missed opportunities in his mind. By morning, he would feel drained, discouraged, and anxious. One day, he decided to experiment. Before sleep, he repeated, "I am financially guided. I am open to prosperity. Wealth comes to me in the perfect ways." Initially, it felt unnatural. But within a few weeks, he noticed small changes: an unexpected freelance project, a client extending a payment early, an idea for a side business he hadn't considered. The subconscious had been at work, quietly rearranging his reality to align with the new instructions he had given it. Here's the remarkable truth: your subconscious is constantly shaping your world, whether you realize it or not. Every thought, every word, every lingering worry is a command. It never forgets. It never sleeps. And it never questions. The quiet moments before slumber are a time when the subconscious is especially receptive, when it listens closely, when it can act without the interference of your conscious doubts. Think about that. Every night, you have a choice. You can allow your mind to replay fear, scarcity, and anxiety, or you can intentionally speak words of hope, faith, and abundance. Those words are not just phrases, they are instructions, a blueprint, a map for your subconscious to follow. When you consistently feed it positive, empowering, and wealth-oriented declarations, you are programming a life that aligns with your desires. Even the smallest changes matter. Imagine a single, simple phrase repeated nightly: "I am worthy of abundance. Opportunities flow to me effortlessly." At first, it may feel insignificant. Yet over time, that single instruction is absorbed, internalized, and begins to influence decisions, perceptions, and interactions. Suddenly, doors you never noticed before become visible. People respond to you differently. You make decisions with more clarity and confidence. Your energy changes, and with it, your reality. Your subconscious does not act overnight in dramatic leaps. Its work is subtle, persistent, and powerful. Like water carving a canyon over centuries, small, consistent input, words, thoughts, emotions shapes the contours of your life. You are the gardener planting seeds, your subconscious is the river, the wind, and the sun, nurturing growth invisibly while you sleep. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that your subconscious will obey whether you consciously understand the mechanics or not. This means that even if you feel skeptical or doubtful, the act of consistently planting positive words before sleep sets forces into motion that will manifest results. Doubt may slow the process, but it does not prevent it entirely. Consistency, faith, and emotional intensity amplify the results, creating the momentum you need for lasting transformation. So tonight, as you lie down, consider the power in your hands, or rather, in your words. They are instructions, seeds, and commands that your subconscious will act upon while you sleep. Every whisper, every phrase, every thought is shaping the landscape of your reality. The night is your laboratory, your garden, your silent stage where your dreams begin to take shape. Will you continue feeding your mind fear and limitation, or will you speak wealth, abundance, and faith into existence? Because the moment you intentionally guide your subconscious, you unlock a force more powerful than any external circumstance. Imagine walking into a room filled with mirrors, each reflecting a slightly distorted version of yourself. Some mirrors show fear, doubt, and worry. Others show hope, opportunity, and abundance. Every thought you carry, every word you speak, becomes like one of these mirrors, reflecting your inner world back to you in subtle, undeniable ways. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the subconscious mind doesn't argue with what you give it, it simply reflects it into your life. This is why speaking words of abundance before sleep is so critical. It is the act of placing positive, powerful mirrors in your mind for your subconscious to imitate while you rest. Let me tell you about a young woman named Eliza. She had always dreamed of becoming a writer, but her days were consumed with self-doubt. Every night, she would lie in bed replaying all the reasons she couldn't succeed. I'm not talented enough. Who would read my work? I'll never make money from writing. These were her mirrors of limitation, and they were reinforced each night, reflecting back only fear and scarcity. By morning, she would feel drained, uninspired, and unmotivated. Her subconscious was obeying the instructions she had given it, creating a reality where obstacles seemed to appear at every turn. Then one evening, she decided to try something different. Before sleep, she whispered softly, "I am a talented writer. My words inspire and attract abundance. Opportunities for success flow to me effortlessly." At first, it felt awkward, almost silly. But she persisted. Night after night, she repeated these words with feeling, imagining herself already living that reality. And slowly, subtle changes began to appear. She noticed a local writing contest she had previously ignored, a friend sharing an unexpected publishing opportunity, and small bursts of inspiration that flowed freely onto the page. These were not coincidences. They were the subconscious mind acting on the instructions she had planted before sleep, reflecting back the abundance she had begun to believe in. Your subconscious is like a mirror factory, working quietly and tirelessly. When you place fear and worry in front of it, it produces reflection after reflection of limitation. But when you place faith, gratitude, and abundance in front of it, it begins to reflect opportunities, ideas, and solutions. And this reflection is not passive, it actively influences how you see the world, how you respond to challenges, and how you interact with people. Think about it. The way you perceive a situation often determines your outcome. A person focused on scarcity will see obstacles. A person focused on abundance will see opportunities. The mirrors you place before your subconscious while you sleep determine which version of reality it reflects back to you. Let's take another story. There was a man named Marcus, working a 9-to-5 job that left him unfulfilled. Every night, he would worry about bills, about promotions he wasn't getting, and about opportunities he felt were slipping away. He felt stuck, trapped, and frustrated. One day, he read about the power of pre-sleep affirmations. Skeptical but willing to try, he began speaking, "I am open to abundance. Prosperity flows to me in perfect ways. I attract the right people and opportunities." At first, nothing seemed to change. But gradually, he began noticing small shifts, a colleague offering to collaborate, a client unexpectedly increasing a contract, a moment of inspiration for a new side business. Marcus's mirrors of abundance had begun to reflect new possibilities, and his subconscious had started to organize his reality around them. This is the key. Your subconscious does not care about how realistic your statements are. It does not debate logic. It simply obeys. Whether you say, "I can't" or "I am abundant," it takes these words as commands and begins to reflect them into your waking life. And here's the subtle but powerful part: these reflections do not always appear immediately. They begin in small, almost imperceptible ways. A new idea, a different reaction from a colleague, a sudden inspiration. Over time, as you consistently feed the mirror of your subconscious with positive, empowering words, the reflections grow stronger, clearer, and more vivid, until they shape the entire landscape of your life. Think of it like planting a garden of mirrors in your mind. Each night, your words are seeds. Fear, worry, and limitation plant mirrors that reflect scarcity and struggle. Faith, gratitude, and abundance plant mirrors that reflect opportunity and wealth. Over time, the mirrors multiply, covering every corner of your subconscious, and your reality begins to shift without you consciously manipulating a single detail. There's also the emotional dimension. Words alone are powerful, but words paired with feeling are exponentially stronger. The subconscious responds to emotional intensity as if it were a command. Imagine lying in bed, whispering, "I am abundant," while truly feeling the excitement, joy, and relief that abundance would bring. That emotional charge is like sunlight, water, and fertilizer for your mirrors. They shine brighter, reflect more clearly, and work faster. Conversely, words spoken with hesitation or fear are weak, murky mirrors that reflect only confusion or limitation. Consider a real-world analogy. Have you ever noticed that when you wake up stressed or anxious, the world feels heavier, more complicated, and more difficult to navigate? Now imagine waking up after a night spent speaking words of confidence and abundance. The same world, same circumstances, appear differently. Doors seem open that felt closed. People respond differently. Opportunities appear where none were visible before. The mirrors your subconscious carried through the night have shaped your perception, influencing every decision, every interaction, every action you take. Even the greatest minds in history understood this principle, whether or not they articulated it in terms of subconscious mirrors. They understood that how they spoke to themselves in quiet, private moments influenced the way the world responded to them. Their self-talk, their private declarations, their repeated affirmations created reflections that guided action, opportunity, and achievement. Your nightly words are the most powerful reflections you can give your subconscious. They are not just sentences, they are mirrors that shape how you see, how you feel, and how you act. When you consistently speak abundance, faith, and opportunity before sleep, you are placing a network of powerful mirrors in your subconscious, which then projects a reality aligned with those reflections. And these projections are not illusions, they influence behavior, decisions, and perception, creating the circumstances that make abundance inevitable. So tonight, as you prepare to close your eyes, think about the mirrors you are offering your subconscious. Are they reflecting fear, scarcity, and doubt? Or are they reflecting faith, abundance, and possibility? The words you speak before sleep are more than just thoughts, they are reflections that your subconscious will act upon, shaping your reality while you rest, influencing the world you wake up to. And the more consistent and emotionally charged your words, the clearer, brighter, and more powerful those reflections become, guiding you toward a life of wealth, opportunity, and abundance. Picture this: it's late at night, the world outside silent, and you're lying in bed. Your mind drifts over the events of the day, the small victories, the tiny frustrations, the unanswered questions. And in that quiet space, the subconscious begins its work. But here's the catch: it doesn't just work randomly. It follows the patterns, the habits, the instructions you've planted in it. Your subconscious is like an artist waiting for your guidance, ready to shape your reality into the masterpiece or the mess you hand it. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man can alter his life by altering his thoughts." This isn't abstract, it's concrete, and it begins when you speak consciously to your subconscious before sleep. Think about a time when you wanted something desperately, but instead of focusing on it with clarity and faith, you filled your mind with doubt and fear. Perhaps it was a job promotion, a new relationship, or even a personal goal. You told yourself, "I probably won't get it," or "it's too hard," or "I'm not ready." And then you noticed how the day unfolded, Doors that might have opened stayed closed, opportunities you might have seen were invisible, and your confidence slipped away. Your subconscious was working all along, obeying the instructions you had given it, yet the instructions were negative. It didn't judge, it didn't argue, it simply followed orders. Now imagine flipping the script. Consider a young entrepreneur named Rachel. She dreamed of launching her own coaching business, but like most people, her days were filled with distractions and doubts. One night, she decided to experiment. Before sleep, she repeated, "I am attracting clients who value my work. Wealth and opportunity flow to me easily. I am guided to success." She didn't just say it, she imagined it. She felt the relief, the excitement, the pride of already living that reality. That night, her subconscious received clear, emotionally charged instructions. While she slept, it began to weave invisible threads, connections, ideas, insights, linking her inner world with the outer world she desired. By morning, she awoke alert, noticing a message from someone seeking coaching services, an idea for a new program, and inspiration for marketing strategies. Her subconscious had started to create the reality she had planted before sleep. Your subconscious is relentless. It doesn't take vacations. It doesn't complain. It works quietly, tirelessly, even while you dream. But here's the most fascinating part: it does not distinguish between imagined and real experiences. The mind cannot differentiate between a vivid thought spoken with feeling and a real-life event. If you imagine abundance and speak it with conviction before sleep, your subconscious interprets it as real and begins orchestrating circumstances to align with it. Conversely, if you speak fear and scarcity, it organizes reality around lack. This is why your last words before sleep carry immense power. They are not idle thoughts, they are commands that guide the vast machinery of your subconscious. Consider the analogy of a lighthouse. In the dark, stormy night, the light doesn't fight the waves. It simply shines, giving guidance to the ships navigating the storm. Your subconscious is like the ocean, vast and powerful, full of currents and potential, while your words before sleep are the lighthouse. They set a beacon, a direction, a point of focus that your subconscious will navigate toward. The clearer and stronger the light, the more your subconscious can align your reality with the direction you desire. There's a story about a man named David who struggled with finances for years. Every night, he worried about bills, debt, and job insecurity. His mind was like a stormy sea, his words like fragmented, scattered lighthouses, weak, inconsistent, unclear. One evening, he decided to commit to a simple pre-sleep practice. He whispered, "I am financially abundant. Opportunities flow to me. I am guided to wealth." He repeated it consistently, with feeling, every night. Within weeks, subtle changes appeared. A client called unexpectedly, a freelance opportunity he hadn't considered came his way, and he began noticing ways to save and invest he had previously overlooked. The subconscious had been working while he slept, orchestrating circumstances in alignment with the new, focused instructions. Your subconscious is also deeply influenced by emotion. Words alone have power, but words combined with emotion are exponentially more potent. Imagine whispering, "I am successful," while feeling the relief, excitement, and joy of already being successful. That emotional charge acts like fertilizer on the seeds you plant. It accelerates growth, strengthens alignment, and magnifies results. On the other hand, repeating words half-heartedly, without feeling, dilutes the signal, leaving the subconscious with weak, unclear instructions. Emotional intensity gives your words life and direction. Here's a critical point: consistency matters more than perfection. You may not always feel fully confident or inspired, but the act of consistently speaking positive, empowering words before sleep creates a rhythm, a habit that the subconscious recognizes and obeys. Even when doubt creeps in, the subconscious continues its work, moving in the direction of the instructions you feed it most frequently and with most intention. The small, daily act of speaking abundance before sleep compounds over time, reshaping perception, guiding decisions, and opening doors you may never have imagined. Think about your daily life. How often do you allow fear, worry, or doubt to take the final word before sleep? Every negative thought, every anxious whisper, is a command to your subconscious. The world you wake up to is influenced not just by external events but by the instructions you've silently given your subconscious while you slept. This is not metaphysical fluff, this is psychology, neuroscience, and spiritual law converging. The subconscious stores everything, sorts everything, and acts upon the instructions you provide. Even the simplest declarations can have profound effects. For example, saying, "I am open to abundance" or "I welcome opportunities" each night plants seeds that grow into clarity, awareness, and action. These statements, repeated with intention and emotion, direct the subconscious to notice possibilities, to align circumstances, and to guide behavior in ways that reflect abundance. It's like having an invisible assistant working tirelessly while you sleep, quietly shaping your day, your opportunities, and your life. Imagine the transformation over weeks and months. Each night, a simple, intentional phrase, repeated with faith and emotion, compounds like interest in a bank account. Your perception changes, your energy shifts, and the world begins to respond. Doors open that you hadn't seen, ideas appear that you hadn't considered, and people and circumstances align to support your goals. The subconscious, guided by the consistent, emotionally charged words before sleep, becomes the architect of your success. So tonight, as you prepare for rest, consider the profound influence of your last words. Are they commands of fear and limitation, or declarations of faith and abundance? The night is a sacred laboratory where your subconscious takes your instructions and begins to manifest them. Speak with clarity, with emotion, with conviction. Your subconscious is listening, tirelessly obeying, and quietly shaping the reality you will wake up to. Imagine waking up one morning and feeling lighter than you have in years. Not because the world has changed overnight, but because something inside you has shifted. Your perception has aligned with your desires, your mind is clearer, and opportunities you never noticed before are suddenly visible. This is the incredible power of your subconscious mind when you feed it the right instructions before sleep. Florence Scovel Shinn often emphasized that the subconscious mind is like a mirror. It reflects whatever is impressed upon it. And the words you speak in your final waking moments are the most potent impressions you can give. Think about a time when you worried about something intensely, and it seemed to follow you relentlessly. Maybe it was a looming deadline, a financial challenge, or a personal conflict. You took it to bed, and in the stillness of the night, it echoed in your mind. When you woke up, it still felt present, shaping your thoughts, your energy, and your interactions. That's your subconscious at work. It does not forget. It does not discriminate. It obeys. Whatever seeds you plant, fear, doubt, scarcity, grow. They shape your perception and your actions, and they set the tone for your day. Now imagine the opposite. Picture a woman named Lila. She had struggled for years with self-confidence and career stagnation. Every night, she decided to try something different. Before sleep, she whispered, "I am capable. Opportunities flow to me effortlessly. Abundance surrounds me." At first, it felt strange. She doubted whether her words could truly change anything. But she continued, night after night, imagining the feeling of living those truths. Slowly, subtle shifts began to appear. A coworker recommended her for a project she never would have considered. A friend shared a business lead. Ideas she hadn't had before came easily and naturally. Her subconscious was responding to the clear, consistent, emotionally charged instructions she had given it. Your subconscious is a tireless architect, constantly designing your reality based on the impressions you leave it. It does not differentiate between imagined and real experiences. If you imagine abundance vividly and speak it with emotion, it takes that as reality and begins orchestrating circumstances around it. Conversely, if you feed it fear, doubt, and lack, it mirrors those patterns back into your life. This is why the last words you speak before sleep carry such immense weight. They are the foundation for your subconscious to build upon. Consider this: your subconscious operates like a GPS. Every thought, every word, every feeling is a coordinate. Fear sets the GPS to dead ends, traffic jams, and detours. Faith and abundance set the GPS to open roads, clear paths, and direct routes to your desires. It doesn't argue, it doesn't debate, it simply follows the directions you provide. The clearer and more emotionally charged those directions are, the faster and more accurately your subconscious navigates your reality. There's a story about a man named Simon, who had struggled with finances for years. Each night, he worried about debt, expenses, and job insecurity. His subconscious was working, but the instructions were negative, creating a reality full of obstacles and stress. One day, he read about Florence Scovel Shinn's principle of speaking abundance before sleep. Skeptical but willing to try, he whispered each night, "I am open to prosperity. Opportunities flow to me easily. I am guided to financial abundance." Within weeks, subtle changes began to occur. A client unexpectedly increased a payment, a business lead appeared from an old contact, and he began noticing ways to save and invest that had previously eluded him. His subconscious had been at work all along, but now it was aligned with his desires. Your subconscious doesn't just influence external circumstances, it reshapes your internal world as well. Speaking abundance before sleep changes how you perceive challenges, how you respond to setbacks, and how you take action. A difficult situation no longer feels insurmountable. An opportunity you might have ignored suddenly stands out. You act with clarity, confidence, and intention. The subconscious is like a lens through which you view reality, and the words you plant before sleep determine the quality of that lens. Emotion amplifies the effect. Words spoken with feeling carry more weight than words spoken mechanically. Imagine whispering, "I am abundant," while feeling the excitement, relief, and joy of already living in abundance. That emotional charge is like sunlight and water for the seeds you plant in your subconscious. They grow faster, stronger, and more vividly. Conversely, words spoken without emotion are weak mirrors, reflecting only faint signals that take longer to manifest, if at all. Even small declarations have immense power. A simple phrase like, "I am open to opportunities," repeated consistently before sleep, compounds over time. Your subconscious internalizes it, aligns your perception, and guides your actions accordingly. Doors you never noticed before begin to appear. Ideas flow more freely. Relationships and connections that support your growth emerge naturally. The results may be subtle at first, but persistence magnifies the impact, shaping your reality in profound ways. Think about it like planting a garden. Every night, you plant seeds with your words. Fear, doubt, and worry plant weeds. Faith, gratitude, and abundance plant flowers. Over time, the garden reflects the seeds you have planted. And the night is the perfect time for this growth, because while your conscious mind rests, your subconscious works tirelessly, turning your words into reality. Even the most successful people understood this principle intuitively. They knew that their private words, their inner dialogue, and their intentions before sleep shaped their outcomes. Whether it was a leader, an inventor, or an artist, the act of consciously guiding the subconscious was central to their success. They spoke affirmations, imagined outcomes vividly, and infused their words with emotion. Their subconscious then aligned their perception, decisions, and actions with their desired results. So tonight, as you lie down to rest, consider this. The last words you whisper before sleep are not idle thoughts. They are commands, seeds, and instructions for your subconscious. They shape your perception, your actions, and ultimately your reality. Are your words planting fear and limitation, or faith and abundance? Speak with intention, speak with feeling, speak with conviction. Your subconscious is listening. It is obeying. And it is quietly building the world you will wake up to, a world that reflects the abundance, clarity, and opportunities you have planted in the quiet hours of night. Imagine the moment just before sleep, when the world goes silent and you are alone with your thoughts. In that stillness, the power to shape your life is in your hands, or rather, in your words. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your subconscious obeys without question, without hesitation. It does not analyze, it does not argue, it does not negotiate. It simply follows the instructions you give it, especially in the quiet moments before sleep, when your conscious mind rests and your subconscious mind is wide awake, ready to act. These are the hours when seeds of abundance can be planted, and when those seeds, nurtured by faith and emotion, can grow into tangible results in your waking life. Consider a man named Ethan. For years, he had struggled financially. Each night, He replayed his fears. I will never get ahead. There's never enough. I am stuck. He did not realize that these were commands, planting weeds in the fertile soil of his subconscious. No matter how hard he worked during the day, the subconscious, acting on these instructions, reinforced scarcity. Opportunities passed him by unnoticed. Doors remained closed. Each morning felt heavier than the last. Then, one day, he read about Shinn's principles. Skeptical but willing, he tried something new. Before sleep, he whispered with feeling, abundance flows to me. Opportunities come easily. I am guided to prosperity. At first, it seemed inconsequential. But night after night, he persisted, feeling the words as though they were true. Gradually, his life began to shift. He noticed a new freelance client, a friend offering to collaborate, ideas that solved problems he had struggled with for months. His subconscious had been working all along, but now it was aligned with the instructions he was intentionally giving it. Your subconscious is relentless and tireless, shaping your perceptions, influencing your decisions, and subtly guiding your actions. It does not differentiate between a vivid imagined experience and reality, it simply treats them as fact. When you feed it negative thoughts, worry, doubt, fear, it organizes your world around those limitations. When you feed it positive thoughts, faith, gratitude, abundance, it arranges your circumstances to reflect those truths. And this happens whether you consciously notice it or not. The last words you speak before sleep act as commands, programming the vast machinery of your subconscious to align with your deepest desires. Think of it like setting a course for a ship at sea. Your conscious mind is the captain, but your subconscious is the engine room, making the adjustments, navigating the currents, and keeping the ship on track. If you leave the engine room unchecked, if you provide no instructions or feed it negativity, the ship drifts aimlessly, caught in storms and obstacles. But if you give clear, consistent, emotionally charged instructions before sleep, the engine begins to work, correcting the course, clearing obstacles, and steering you toward your desired destination. There's a real-life example of a woman named Sophia. She had always wanted to start her own art studio, but fear held her back. Every night, she whispered complaints to herself about lack of money, fear of failure, and doubt about her abilities. Her subconscious, obeying these instructions, created a reality full of hesitation and missed chances. Then she began a nightly ritual of affirmations. I am successful. I attract opportunities. Wealth flows to me effortlessly. She imagined herself walking into her dream studio, feeling the excitement and fulfillment of living her vision. Slowly, opportunities began to emerge. A gallery offered her a chance to showcase her work, a friend connected her with clients, and ideas for funding flowed easily. Her subconscious had acted on the emotional, intentional seeds she planted before sleep, shaping her reality to reflect her vision. Emotion is the fuel that amplifies the power of your words. A statement whispered with conviction and feeling becomes a command with force, a seed that grows rapidly in the fertile soil of the subconscious. Without emotion, words remain faint, weak signals, often ignored or diluted. But with emotion, they take root and grow, influencing perception, decisions, and actions. This is why it is not enough to mechanically repeat affirmations. You must feel them as truth, imagine them vividly, and believe in the reality you are planting. Even the simplest declarations can create profound results. A phrase like, I am open to abundance, repeated consistently and with feeling, programs your subconscious to notice opportunities, align circumstances, and guide your actions toward wealth and success. These shifts may be subtle at first, a new idea, a chance meeting, a sudden insight, but over time, they compound, reshaping your life in ways you may never have imagined. Consistency, emotion, and faith are the keys. Consider your daily life. How often do you allow fear, doubt, or worry to be the last thing you whisper before sleep? How often do you let scarcity, anxiety, or limitation guide your subconscious? The world you wake up to is not only shaped by external events but by the instructions you silently provide to your subconscious. This principle is not abstract, it is both psychological and spiritual. The subconscious records, interprets, and acts upon these instructions tirelessly, whether or not you consciously recognize its work. Imagine the transformation over weeks and months. Each night, a simple affirmation, repeated with clarity, emotion, and intention, compounds like interest in a bank account. Your perception shifts. Your energy changes. Opportunities appear naturally. Solutions reveal themselves effortlessly. The subconscious becomes your invisible ally, working continuously while you rest, creating alignment between your inner desires and your outer reality. Even the most successful people understood this principle intuitively. They spoke affirmations, imagined outcomes vividly, and infused their words with emotion. Their subconscious aligned their perception, decisions, and actions with their intentions. You do not need to be a genius, a leader, or a millionaire to apply this principle. It is available to anyone willing to speak consciously, consistently, and with feeling to their subconscious before sleep. Tonight, as you lie down, consider the immense power you hold. The last words you whisper are not idle thoughts, they are commands shaping your life. They plant seeds, set intentions, and direct the tireless work of your subconscious. Are your words feeding fear, limitation, and scarcity, or are they planting faith, abundance, and opportunity? Speak with clarity, emotion, and conviction. Your subconscious is listening, it is obeying, and it is quietly constructing the reality you will wake up to, a reality that reflects the abundance, clarity, and opportunities you planted in the stillness of the night. Tonight, you have learned a truth that can change everything. The power to shape your life, the power to wake up rich in opportunity, in clarity, in abundance, is in your hands. Right now. This very night. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The moment is here. The power is here. The words you whisper before sleep are seeds, and the night is the soil. Plant them now. Plant them with faith. Plant them with gratitude. Plant them with certainty. Say it again with me, in your heart. I am open. I am abundant. I am guided. I am wealthy. I am ready. Say it with feeling. Say it with belief. Say it with every fiber of your being. Because your subconscious is listening. It never sleeps. It never doubts. It obeys. Tonight, you have a choice. Fear or faith. Scarcity or abundance. Doubt or certainty. What will you choose? What words will you carry into the night? What seeds will you plant before sleep? Choose wisely, because the life you dream of begins with the words you speak when no one is watching. And remember this, what you whisper tonight will echo tomorrow. What you plant tonight will blossom into reality. What you declare tonight will shape the world you wake up to. So speak with power. Speak with hope. Speak with certainty. Wake up tomorrow not wishing, not hoping, but knowing. Knowing that abundance is your birthright. Knowing that opportunity flows to you effortlessly. Knowing that wealth, true wealth, is already on its way. Speak the words. Plant the seeds. Transform your life. And never forget this. Tonight you speak. Tomorrow the world obeys.